This is King Narmer or King Menes, the legendary pharaoh who united Egypt some 5,000 years ago. But what if I told you he was actually an alien? Now you might think I'm crazy, but stay with me and I'll prove it to you. You see, Narmer ruled over Egypt from around 3100 BC and is believed by historians to have been the first ruler of the entire country after unifying Upper and Lower Egypt. However, there are many discrepancies in the historical record regarding his identity, reign, and even his very existence. Some scholars claim he was an actual king who built great cities and established Egypt's first dynasty, while others believe he was more of a myth, a symbolic figure representing the unification of the two lands rather than a historical one. And to complicate matters even further, ancient Egyptians themselves weren't quite sure if he was a god or a human being. They called him King Horus, which literally means King Falcon, and associated him with the sky god Horus. Some even believe that Narmer was not just any ordinary king, but the biblical pharaoh of Exodus, the one who enslaved the children of Israel and later let them go after Moses made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Sounds pretty dramatic, right? Well, hold on to your seats because it's about to get even crazier. You see, according to the ancient Egyptians, Narmer wasn't born on earth, but in the sky. They claimed that he descended from the stars as a divine being sent to guide and rule over humanity. They said he had a pet cat named Bastet, who would go on to become one of the most popular gods in their pantheon. And they believed he had a twin sister named Netjerut, who was the personification of the goddess Hathor. But perhaps most remarkably of all, they claimed that Narmer lived for a staggering 64 years, a feat that was only possible thanks to the help of his immortal queen, Entit. According to legend, Entit was a sorceress who kept her youth by bathing in the waters of the sacred lake and drinking the milk of a special animal that lived in the desert, the oryx. She shared these secrets with Narmer and together they enjoyed eternal life at the royal palace in Memphis, the capital of Egypt. But as we all know, immortality has its downsides. You see, while Narmer and Imhotep were busy partying like it was 3100 BC, the rest of humanity was getting on with its business, building pyramids and making art and stuff. And after 64 years, Narmer decided it was time to move on from this mortal coil and join the gods in the afterlife. He left his throne to his son, King Sesostris, who would go on to conquer all of Libya and Nubia and make Egypt even greater than it had ever been before. I mean, talk about a royal pig. Okay, so maybe I haven't convinced you that Narmer was an alien yet, but hear me out. Just think about it. An immortal king who lived in a palace, rode around in a golden chariot pulled by 4 white horses and had a pet cat. Sounds pretty outlandish, doesn't it? Well, exactly. That's why I think Narmer was actually an extraterrestrial being who came to Earth from a planet where kings were treated like gods and cats were considered sacred animals. In fact, I think Narmer wasn't just an alien, he was the leader of an entire civilization from another world that existed in harmony with the natural order of the universe. Now, you might be wondering how I arrived at this conclusion. Well, it's simple really. Just look at the evidence. For starters, Narmer's name, King Horus, could be interpreted as a reference to a celestial body. After all, the ancient Egyptians kept meticulous records of the stars and constellations and often associated them with their rulers. It is possible that Narmer's name was meant to evoke his supposed divine origins and connect him to the cosmos. Furthermore, his pet cat, Bastet, may have been more than just a beloved companion. Cats were revered in ancient Egypt as sacred creatures that could communicate with the gods. And Bastet was eventually transformed into one of the most popular deities in the Egyptian pantheon. It's possible that Bastet was actually an alien creature from another dimension, a feline-like being with mystical powers that only the pharaoh could see or understand. And let's not forget about Narmer's wife, Imhotep, the so-called sorceress queen. Could she really have kept her youth by bathing in the waters of a sacred lake and drinking the milk of a desert animal? Or was she onto something else entirely? Perhaps Imhotep was performing rituals to rejuvenate herself using advanced technology from her own civilization. Maybe the waters of the lake were infused with cosmic energy that could restore one's vitality, or maybe the oryx milk contained rare compounds that had anti-aging properties. Either way, the fact that these myths have survived for so long suggests that there may be something more to them than meets the eye. Of course, there's no concrete proof of any of this. These are all just theories based on the available evidence. But that's what makes them so fascinating. Just think about how much more we could learn about ancient Egyptian history if we could uncover the truth about Narmer and his alien civilization. Imagine the kind of technology and knowledge they must have possessed if they were able to live for decades, and even centuries. Imagine the kind of wisdom and insight they could share with us if we could just decode their myths and legends. The thing is, though, most people just brush off these stories as mere mythology. They don't take them seriously. They don't try to look for hidden meanings or deeper truths. And that's why I think Narmer has been forgotten by mainstream historians. They don't want to acknowledge the possibility that aliens visited Earth thousands of years ago. They don't want to rock the boat and upset the status quo. But I'm not like them. I'm not afraid to question everything and explore all possible explanations. And that's why I think Narmer was an alien. Of course, you don't have to believe me. You can keep on believing whatever you want. But just remember, you might be missing out on something truly extraordinary. You might be ignoring evidence that could change history forever. That's why I say open your mind, embrace the known, and let your imagination run wild. Who knows? You might just discover the truth about Narmer and his alien civilization. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear what you think about Narmer and his mysterious past. Who do you think he really was? An ordinary king, a divine being, or something else entirely? Let us know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other videos. We have tons of amazing content that you're sure to love. From the mysteries of ancient Egypt to the wonders of the cosmos, we've got it all. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn. With that said, until next time, stay curious, stay questioning, and stay open-minded. The universe is full of wonders, and we're just scratching the surface.